Hi, it's David here with Futures Trading. Fate brought you here, and I'm so glad that you stopped by. Mitch, thank you so much for that comment that you left on the last video. I like when you guys interact with the channel because it helps other people find the information. But yes, you said you had missed the fact that I was away, and you're so glad that I'm bringing you some information. So I'm gonna give you one more. I know I was gonna make the last video but I'm gonna take the sabbatical again because I definitely want people to, want to interact with the channel because that's how we grow it. All right. But try to get the videos up to at least 100 views and I'll come back. So, but thank you for that comment. Very kind of you to even do that. I'm so glad that you're here. So I did add some additions to the suite for those who have it, and I'll show you what they look like. It's just a couple of them. You can take a look at them. I'm gonna show it to you on the daily, the hourly, and the 1 minute, so you can kind of see it across the board. Loads of information. I'm going to teach you guys how to, of course, read your chart without any of the indications. You don't need them, but for those that purchase the suite, you can definitely pick it up just using the link that you have. Loads of information. All right, so here's the universal threshold, how far the live candle will pull back before resuming the price action trend. You just need to be able to count to 10 in order to know that the market is trending. And then, of course, the price action method, I use the majority principle, which states that the minority is compelled to follow. Universal chart scale. I'll teach you how to read your hard right edge and know that the market will turn without you having to look left. Here's your daily. So this morning, of course, they pulled up to the back of this bar and turned around. Uh, this bar has a dot on it. Now, there's two ways you can play these dots, and I just put this in there. You got your that's what these signals are. And of course, yeah, so you can go with the dot or you can fade the dot. Just you got to, of course, know how to read the chart. You got to know how to read the chart. Let me first say that. All right, don't think that any indication that I'll make will get you to be profitable. You got to know how to read, and that's what the channel is all about, and that's what we're here for. You would only be able to trade the tools effectively if you know how to read the chart. I want to put that disclaimer out there. All right, and that's any indications, not just mine, anybody's stuff. All right, learn how to read the chart. They pulled up to the back of the bar. They typically do stuff like this with this dot. I just have, let's look at this low here. So the low here, you can look up here if you're new. You can look up here to the upper left corner here, up here at the top of the chart. The low of that bar is 430.75. Let's get the low of this one, 449 and a quarter. So they came really close to the back of that bar with the dot. There's a dot on it. And again, you can counter these bars or you can go with them. Okay. Here's a bar with a dot on it and they immediately turned around. I know this looks strong, but you have to make sure that you understand what they're up to. All right, just understand what they're up to. And then here's the dot again. It came in again, but then it flipped. And here's your dot here. And I did tell you guys they shouldn't pass this bar right here. A couple videos ago, I said it, and I said it in the last video. And I even told you I doubt they'll pass this one here. And so of course, here's the dot. They pop up. Dot came in, then it came in again, and now we're turning and coming with the dot, and we tested to the back of this, and we're turning down. Um, I still say that there's a chance they may want to, break down. I've been saying it ever since they made that high up here, and we read that. All right, so they ran it to the blue bar. The blue bars and the blue arrows are really really important, people. All right, so the blue arrows, if you don't know, I've covered them before, but that's your percent bar for your day where your daily here. All right, I'm gonna show it to you on the hourly. I took the 3 off here. We already talked about the 3, but that's that. Okay, and the blue bars is this, which is your majority, your no touch, no close. But this is the X mark the spot trend. We talked about this one as well. The only one I added for you guys was the consecutive one. If you want to see that, that's an outline. It's a blue outline on that bar. It's a blue outline on this bar. Just fun stuff for fun. That's all. You had your blue arrow here. Again, the moment that this bar closed, that percent indicator would come on. The moment the bar closed, and we're getting it here. All right. The moment the bar closed, that blue arrow will pop up. The moment the bar closed, that dot will come on. All right. Them working together in tandem is an absolute issue. All right. It's just an issue. I just want to put that in front of you. All right. So now let me just take that out the way here. Now, when it comes to your hourly, now this is the hourly with the same information on it. Same information directly on this chart. The indication that I made again, that that one, and even this one. This one is that little square here with a V inside of it. All right, it's a V inside of it. It's a 2-bar plot for that one though. It's 2-bar plot, and even this arrow here, which you already should have this. That is this one, the expansion position building indicator. But the one with the square is really, really fun. That's fun. Here it is. All right. And then, of course, that outline, the consecutive outline that was on this one here. But there's the dot. It drops back, then break. Okay. Because you got them working in tandem. All right. You got the blue arrow, dot. Of course, they leaned over. Dot, dot, and again, you can fade these dots if you want, but the preferred way to go is just go with them if you can. And then, of course, tandem here, they pushed up again, of course, and there's the dot. They're turning the corner. Here's the dot. They're wanting to come down. I did tell you in the last video that they were going to blow that low on that daily. All right. Remember, I told you guys that in the last video. And we're going to get to the chart and read it in just a bit. I told you they were going to come back under this bar. And I told you if they do that, that it could lead for them to want to go ahead and decline. I know they have this dot here, and they may not want to break the bar, may not. We got to see. We got to see. I just think this is interesting how they pulled up to the back of that, and they're coming back this way, and we're actually countering on this dot. Okay, it came in, and we didn't go that way at all. We just turned. All right, so interesting stuff. Interesting stuff. So they double back. All right, they double back down, and I told you that could lead them down. Now here's the problem that I'm having. You got a blue. They're working in tandem. All right. You got a dot. There's the arrow, and they're working in tandem. And they're blowing back past this. All right. They're coming back past here. There's the outline. That's your consecutive. If you have the tools, you can use them. There's the consecutive. Here's the dot on the high. They're countering it. Okay. They're going the other way. Then your dot kicked in here again. The moment the bar closes, that dot comes on. It came in here, and then that sent them up. All right. Came in here, and of course, it does this. That's what it does sometimes. 930 hit them with the ups and downs right back into that blue outline bar there, and then here's your dot, blue bar, blue bar. It's just again, it's just like that blue bar, that blue bar. These blue bars are important. So and I told you guys, they probably pull up here, go run that low on that daily, and they did. They came up with another blue bar when they did it. All right, so that's important. That's absolutely important. So let me just get rid of that. And then let me get rid of this daily. Let's look at this 1 minute. All right, so we got a dot coming in here. All right, so we got a dot coming in here, and I'm gonna teach you how to read it. So if you're new, you don't have to let me get the wrong thing here. You don't have to have my indications. You can just read the chart. It's easy. It's not hard. All right, trust me, it's not. All right, so there's a dot here. Are we going to flip it, or are we going to run it up? All right, so we got 2 dots here. All right. I don't particularly like this high, so maybe this dot going to work and bring them back up. All right, let's first pick apart the chart. Remember what I told you when you first pull up the chart, what to do. Where's the center of the chart? All right, so it's right here. And we're going to give a take here. I got some flashing stuff down there if you want to just kind of gauge the speed of the bar, if you will, how it's trading. There's several things in here that'll kind of read that to you. And then I got the time and sales for those that like volume or, want to see orders being placed, something you can read along with that. Lower half of the chart, let's go ahead and read it here. We got the lower half of the chart. You don't need indications. I'll just try to read this without it. But I definitely want my private community to know that I threw you a couple of other fun little tools in there to use. You don't need them. All right, just want to say that you don't need them, but they're there. All right, so we got the upper part of the chart, center of the chart, and then we got the lower half of the chart. And again, you can counter this dot if you want. You can, but let's just see what they're doing. Let's see. All right, and then we'll take a look at 930 because they had that they had that push, and then they turned the corner. Oh, and that's the other one I put. I know you guys like that fair value gap stuff, so I put that in there too. All right, so I put you one in there. All right, to go along with that, the blue bars. To go along with these blue bars, and there's another little thing in there too because this bar isn't blue, but I put you one in there. It's another blue bar setup that I have that's associated with this one. It's actually the X mark the spot, not the trend one. And then I put the zones based on that as well. So you can kind of run them together. All right, so They're above the lower half of the chart. Here's your little gap. I know you guys like, again, that fair value gap stuff. I don't care about it. I'm indifferent about it. It doesn't matter to me, and I want to make sure it doesn't matter to you as well. You can just read the chart. It's not that difficult. A threshold, they pulled into it. Maybe they'll pull into this one and take right back off. I told you I don't particularly like this high. Um, but we'll see. We'll see. Again, we have the hourly showing that tandem effect from up here. But let's see, because right now they're doing a fantastic job trying to recover. All right, they're doing a wonderful job here. All right, so let's go ahead and count our bars. We got our low. What is this low here? 668. Again, you can look up here in the upper left hand corner here. 668 low. Let's get this low. Yeah, so they just kissed it to the tick. All right, so there's a dot there. It didn't come in over here. Okay, it came in here. There's your dot. It leaned down into it. You can counter it as well. They trapped this dot. Okay, then there's your dot here. The moment that this bar closed, there's your square, the little square with the V. That's this indication here. You can absolutely use that. That's this one here. Okay, you can use that. That's the breakout or breakdown. Okay, and of course they're heading to the upside. So now let's count. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and there's 7. All right, so that's 7 closing higher than the prior. Okay, it has to close higher than the prior. That's a trend. So now we'll sit this here. I'm gonna just lock that. I'm not gonna worry about putting the color to it. That's saying that they will get up there. All right, now let's do our threshold from the other side with the dot. All right, so let's do this one. Just in case they actually want to go down. Let's do it this way. So let's just kind of project that forward. Now notice these bars are not they're not colored. All right, so you don't got your red, you don't got your red or green, well, red bars up here. You don't have them. All right, so majority is not necessarily showing up in that manner. All right, now there's 3 different ways it can show up on the chart. The one in which I'm speaking of is when the mid of the candle, which is that little blue line, exceeds the prior candle. So when that mid, okay, exceeds the prior candle, this is one way it shows up. Okay, your next way that it shows up is this. You get your big wick, you get your little wick. All right, so the next way it'll show up is this. You get your small body, bigger body, and that body needs to fit in there twice. So that's 3 different ways majority will show up on your chart. All right, 3 different ways. All right, so from above this turn here, you have big wick, no wick. All right, so that could create some sell pressure. And then from below, they kind of gave you all of it. They leaned into it, pushed just a little bit higher, but then they came back and broke past it. Now that sucks. If this happens, if they can get that mid below that low, a pressure should come on. I got that on the chart where there's a little pressure that should fire off. It's like the pressure that's in here, but this is reading something else. And that's a dot to want to pull it down. All right, that's what it wants to do. Let's see if it'll do it. They responded to this one. Slight response here, just didn't give you that high. It didn't give you that new high. They dove into that zone, but they didn't give you the new high. Let's see what they want to do. They close outside that threshold. Let's see if this is going to happen. Let's see. Let's see if this is going to happen. That's why I showed you guys that daily and that hourly. Let's see if we can kind of gel it all together and see if it'll make sense. All right, so there's your dot. They pulled into the threshold. They're coming back into this one. Let's see if they'll respond back into this threshold and then go up higher. Let's see. Let's see if they'll do it. If not, let's count our bars from that side and see if it's on its way back down. Well, I don't like this high, but they can deal with this at another time. They don't have to do anything to it now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 6. I don't have the trend indicator up here. There is a trend indicator that you can apply to the chart. Again, thank you, Gabriel, for making that. I made these other ones. I just couldn't make that one because it skips bars, and I'm not that good with that, all right, at all, really. But he made that. I just don't have it on the chart. That's all. And even with this scenario here, I made an indicator called the increase. You can see it in the last video that I made that'll try to find these scenarios for you, all right? It's not perfect. It's not going to get every last scenario. That's why I'm trying to teach you how to find it yourself. All right. But I coded it to my best of my ability. You had it all here, big wick. This wick is smaller than that one. The body can fit in there twice, and that bar is red. That's all 3 showing up in the same place. It went down. All right. So try not to make this thing complicated. They responded to this threshold here, but they're still dealing with this one here. And so they're not willing to just go right back up. So let's take a look at 930 just really quickly here. You had it here. You had your little blue bar. They leaned into it, pushed up before 930. Kind of pushed up here. Uh, so yeah. So then they get up here, and then of course there's your dot. Okay, they push down to the bar with the dot. Okay, you see the bar with the dot right here. They push down into that threshold. Let's just kind of pick this apart on the way down while that's forming. Okay, dove down, gave you the dot, pop right back up. There's the dot, and so they faded both sides. All right. So and then here's the dot here. Okay, there's your dot. They pull right up to that threshold. Okay, you can see the threshold on the bar with the dot. Okay, they pull right into that. Did not break the high of that bar. Here's the high of the bar here at 33.50. High here 30. So they came in lower into that threshold and they turned around. Here's the bar with the dot. They didn't want to hold this threshold. That's the problem. They dove into it. You can see the wick. They dove into it, fed back up, but then they eventually crashed through. All right. So now when it comes to the indications here, again, you had a dot here, you had a dot here. Then you get that's that indication. Again, I just made that. All right. And that comes in, it's a 2-bar pattern. And then, of course, you got your zones up here. I made those as well. You had your dot come in here. When they stopped the market here, you had a dot. They pulled down into the dot. You had one come here. You could fade it if you want. Dot came in on this high. They leaned over. They couldn't hold that. Okay, and then they gave you that indication. But in my opinion, this is just not where I would want it to be. And they overshot it, and that's okay. It came down with the blue bar, and they just pushed down again. Where did they go? Okay, let's kind of just project this forward. Okay, then they popped up again. All right, and then of course they turned the corner. Now, if you're doing majority, they had it all here. You had your big wick, smaller body, fitting in there twice. And of course, the bar is red because the mid of this bar fell below. So you had it, all of it. You had all of it right here. All right, all of it right here. All right. And then here's that dot. Well, actually pulled up to it. Let's see what the high of it is here. 36.75, 36 and a quarter. So they came really close, and there's your zone. They pulled up to that, and then they turned the corner. There's a bigger dot here. Let me go ahead and tell you that. There's a bigger dot here. That's this one. It's still single bar plot. It's still single bar plot, but it's a bigger one. It's indicative of that one, but there's just a couple other little things I put into it. They pulled to the back of it. There's your low. All right. 56.75. 57.50. They popped up and pushed up higher. And then the big dot came in again on this side of it. See the bigger dot here. Again, that's this one here. Okay. It's that one. All right. You can use this one. There's the bigger move. They pull right into that threshold. All right, remember, you got to use your threshold. You get your indication, you use your threshold. All right, so let's see what they're doing. All right, so now they move down. All right, so they moved through that. Now they want to give us the the red bar. That sucks. I would have liked to see that somewhere up here, but it's okay. They're putting it in now. So now we have a trend down. So now we got to count our trend down. And I believe we were already on 6. So now let's get 7, and then I'm going to let you guys go. I'm not going to hold you much longer here. That's saying that they'll get back down here. Let's see. I don't like this high, but if they're going to make it work, hey, we're going to come back down here. And that's just, that's all it is. We're going to end up back down here. Bar with the dot. Let's see. Let's put this on here, right here again. And again, this is a single bar plot indication. That's all it is, single bar plot. They pulled up to it. This one held, they pulled into it. Unfortunately, this one worked, but this one didn't. All right, so that sucks. They pulled into it, but they didn't want to give you another push. That's bad. Okay, you had your little zone back here, so maybe they won't break this. Maybe they won't break it. All right, so there's a bar with the dot. Here's the center of the chart. Okay, the chart scale is not moving as much, so that's good. I mean, you don't want to it to go, go anywhere on you if it's going to actually go back up. All right. So you don't really want that to happen. So they ran past here. They gave you something. All right. There's something. And again, all you would need, let's see how much money was in at least this bar. There's $300 in that bar, 305. So all you would need really is $99.21. That's $2,000 a month. People, please do not think that at least 20 ticks can't get you something. 20 ticks can get you somewhere. Get your account to grow. All right, that's important. You got to get your account to grow. If you're new, don't Don't kid yourself. You don't have to stay in a trade forever. You don't have to do that. If you can get your account to grow, that's important. It appears that they're trying to pull back up to this bar with the dot on it. Okay, that's what they're trying to do. Let me just color this one because I know I got a couple different little zones up here. Let me color this one. Let's make that red. Okay, let me just make this red until they blow past it, if they're going to blow past it. Here's that zone stuff that you guys are liking. Again, I made you one. There's that zone, the FVG stuff. Oh, it's over here, that level. The level in the zone right there. You can go with that. Again, I tried to build it off of the majority. That's all. I tried to build it off of that. They're leaning back into the zone. Let's see, can they push up just a bit? And if they can, then I am absolutely going to let you go. I'm not going to hold you much longer. I definitely want you guys to just kind of keep in mind what that daily is doing. Please, please do not let these guys trick you. That's my main point here. Don't let these guys trick you. They're doing something it's not okay. I'll just say that it's not okay. If they're going to go up, they need to get to it on that daily. If they're going to move to the upside, they need to hurry up and get to it. Today's activity was not indicative of it. Again, I told you that they're having a problem, so I don't quite trust that they're ready to go up just yet. I don't believe that. They're doing something absolutely different that they shouldn't be doing. This threshold so far is holding. I believe they may run through this. I know we had two green bars here, but they may run through this. They may run through this. They dropped that mid beneath that candle. Yeah, they're doing it. So the majority is kicking on. You can see the pressure here. All right. So whenever the mid of the candle falls below the prior bar's mid, they're coming up on the back of this bar. It's a dot on it. Let's see what they do. Whenever that mid falls below or above, which is this scenario here, that pressure will come on. All right, that pressure will come on. These are volume bars in here I made. That's all this is, some volume bars. All right, that turned blue. All right, so let's see what the blue bar is going to give here. Let's see if it's going to give to the downside. You had a blue bar here. You had a blue outline bar here. The outline, again, just takes 2 bars. The blue just takes 2 bars. Maybe a little bit much on a 1 minute. You may want to scale down to something smaller. Okay, so you had your blue outline here. They overshot this one, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they overshot that one. But your blue outline here, they kind of lifted up to it, and then boom, they set sail to the downside. The V, all right, that's that V. That's this one here. I just made that so you can pick that up there. Let's see if they're going to stay down. They responded here. I believe they blew past that. Yeah, they blew past that bar. They didn't break the zone. Okay, well the 3 bar pattern there that everyone chases online. It's okay. Again, I'm not opposed to it. I'm indifferent about it because I know you can get it to work with 1 bar. And if you're not going to wait 1 bar, and I understand why, because it takes majority. If you use 2 bars, you can get into it in real time. All right, just a bar and a half. So here's that bar with that threshold. They didn't break this zone yet. I told you I really don't like this high, but they're doing a fantastic job with bringing this back down. You can fade these dots. All right, you can fade them, and I can absolutely tell you how to go about that. Those on the private playlist, you should understand what the map. Please look for your map indicator. Put that on your chart, and that'll tell you when to fade it, when to step in front of it. Okay, put your map indicators. Your map indicators very important. Put your map. I don't have it on this chart. Put your map indicator on your chart, and that'll tell you when it's likely that you should step on it and go back in the opposite direction in order to catch that fade. All right, and to get it to go in the other way, and know how much risk you should have out there in order to do it. All right. So let's see if they're willing to honor this setup here. Let's see. I know right now they're still doing this. They're still beneath the center of the chart, people. All right, I definitely want to say that to you. They never got above the center of the chart. Rewind the video. They're stuck beneath the center of the chart, and then of course the lower half of your chart. Okay, they're stuck right now. They're just stuck in between the two. I don't like this high. It's just like the daily when I told you guys I don't like what they did on the back of that bar. If you watch my videos enough, hopefully you'll figure out what it is that I'm telling you without having to come on to the private playlist. Okay, hopefully you can figure out what's making me say I don't like this. I don't like that. Okay, so they dove into our bar with the dot this time. It didn't work here, but they dove into it here. It came back just a bit. Let's see. They're offering us that move there. Now let's see what's happening here. Are they going to fade this one and come back through? There's another dot here. I'm not going to draw this threshold. You can see them diving into it. They haven't broken this bar yet. All right, so the high of this bar here, 766.75. The high of this bar here, 763.75. All right, so they just ran through the back of this, so they're fading this one. Let's see. Let's see. They've been doing that fade. Okay, here's one here. They faded it. Here's one here. They faded it. All right, and then they played it, to the downside just a little bit back into this. Is all of it here, and then they moved up just a bit just to get back up there. Let's see if they broke it. It looked like they kissed it. 82. Oh, they kissed it. Oh my goodness. So they kissed this bar because they got outside that threshold. That sucks. Wow. Them getting outside that threshold, I really don't like when they do that. And I will tell you that. I don't too much care for that part of it. They got right up to the back of that and kissed it. All right. They look like they've been, well, no, they got above this one too, I believe. Yeah, they got above this one. But that's not what's making that turn a problem. It's something else. It's something else. I hope you guys catch on. I hope you guys catch on, man. I really do. All right, so that zone is still holding. They pulling up to the back of here. Are they going to fade this? All right, now they came back to this threshold. Let's see. This is a problem, and I know sometimes this can become problematic because there's $430 in this bar that they just finished. And I'm sure this one right here is almost at 400 right now. There's what 60, 66 ticks in this. This right here can cause problems for those that cannot afford to play this game, because it's very difficult to, of course, get inside of some of these trades with that volatility being there. So you may have to scale back to that micro. They're playing that threshold here too. It's kind of one and the same if you ask me. They're stuck in between the two and they're just overlapping the bars. But this is a bar with a dot. Let's see if they're going to go ahead and drop this thing through here. I know they got that zone there. Or are they, of course, playing the opposite side, wanting to pick it up and go ahead and run it back to the opposite side of the chart here. Let's see. Let's see. Now, if they clip this, I must go. I don't want to sit here much longer. I really don't. I think you guys get it. Of course, you're only looking for this, all right, on your chart. Those that's new, you're looking for this information right here. Okay, and you can wrap whatever indicators you want around it. You don't need mine. You can do whatever you want. I have tons of them. This is just a handful of them that I've created, but I got tons of them. All right, $100 if you want them. There's big wick, little wick, small body, big body, and then you want the mid to exceed the prior bar. You can take one of these scenarios and do fine, but it's best if you can get them all. If you can get them all, you're just doing wonderful. All of it was here. There's a big wick, no wick, body can fit in there twice, and the bar is green because the mid of here got above there. They're ready to go. It's best when you can get it all. That's all. When you can get it all, it's best. So yeah, they're wanting to lean over some more. Let's see if they can work their way through here. They're kind of holding themselves right at this threshold here. They're holding themselves. Let's see what they want to do. Let's see. They fed into this one with the dot. Let's see what they want to do. It can't be both. It can't be both. They can't go up and go down. They have to do one or the other. It cannot be both. I'm more inclined to believe that they may want to get through here. May. Let's see if this one can just bring it right back up. Let's see. Now, if this one can do it, then we may be on our way up here to get that trend distance. Because remember, we have that trend distance right here. If they can get back through here. If they can get back through here, they may want to do that. No, it's not looking like it. They're pulling right back into that threshold. Yeah, they pulling right back into, yeah. They pull right back into that threshold. Yeah, see the bar with the dot, pull into the threshold, turn the bar, 77 ticks in this already, so that's roughly through at 350. And they may just go ahead and increase the size of it and bring it down even further. I just want to see if it'll clip this and then I'll go. But that's that zone. Of course, I made that for you as well. Tons of indicators for you. So if you download the suite, let me tell you which ones they are again. You have your quick fill here, your quick fill block. You have your volume benchmark pro alt, and that's the BDBO, that's the breakdown and breakout. And then of course you have your no touch, no close, X mark the spot trend gaps. Okay, your FVGs, you got that. All right, so those are the ones that I actually just put into the indicator list this morning. You're more than welcome to go ahead and pick that up. Tons of indicators, tons. You don't need them. All right, I'm telling you how to read the chart without them. All right, it's really, really simple. But if you do want an additional opinion, I have that. All right. So if you want an opinion of how to go about it, dot, they pulled up to it, but they offer you some money first. That's money. There's a dot, 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 small bit of money, but that's again, try to go with them. It's a trend down. Just try to ride the dots. And of course, at some point, it's going to ping you out of it. At some point, see, like here, it just pinged you out of it, but then it pushed a little bit more, and then now you're, in the opposite direction. Here's another dot. So let's see if it'll go ahead and bring it down. I know they pull right back into that threshold. Will they run this turn? Got another dot. You can look at this information down here. It'll try to, again, break down that bar. Okay, we got the arrows in here. These are aggression arrows. Just like that pressure that's flashing, that's an aggression pressure as well. These are reading different time frames though. Let's see. Let's see. They're still playing with this threshold here. They're still playing with it. They haven't broke this bar with the dot. They haven't broke this one either. Let's see what the high of this one is. Let me just kind of pull this back just a hair so we can kind of see what's happening with the back of that bar. High of the bar, 748. What is this high here? 47.25. So they came within 3 ticks. They pulled into that threshold as well. Let's see if 3 ticks. There's that dot, 3 ticks. Let's see if they'll go ahead and push down. There's another dot. So let's see, back to back. Let's see if they can go ahead and get through this threshold and clip this turn. And then from there, I must go. That's a 3 tick. They came within 3 ticks at the back of that bar. Let's see if they can go ahead and get through here, though. Let's see. Okay, yeah, it's bearing down on top of them. Yeah, you got your pressures come. Everything is lining up on this one. Let's see if they'll go ahead and pop this turn. Okay, they just popped it. All right, people, I absolutely have enjoyed giving you this information in the last 2 videos, and now this is the 3rd one. And again, if you're new, thank you. Thank you so much for coming by. If you want to get caught up on this information, I've been, again, covering this information. I left off 3 months ago telling you that the daily was going to turn. I came back, which is in this video, and kind of read to you what it did on the way down and how in our private community we were talking about it turning, coming back up. And of course, there was a zone up there, and they went right back into that zone and turned down again. And so I told you in that video, this video, and of course this one here, there's a good chance, just a good chance, that this market may move down lower. All right, and I don't want you guys to be taken advantage of and taken off guard by its behavior. All right, so we're still above here. We haven't got under here yet. Hopefully, we'll go in and do that. If they are going to do that, that trend is down here. Now, if they're going to hold this trend here, they'll wind up back up here. Just want to tell you that. All right, so I wish you all the best with your trading. Again, Mitch, thank you so much for that comment. And of course, Jimmy, all of you, Dimitri, all of you guys that's a part of the channel, Payman, all of you guys, man, that reach out. Some of you just reach out, of course, via email. Some of you call. I know I talked to Payman. Thank you so much, my friend, for giving me a call. He checks on me from time to time. Those that really appreciate the content, I can't celebrate you guys enough for taking out the time to leave comments. It's so warm, heartwarming. Josh, all of you that take the time to say, hey, Dave, we appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate each and every one of you. All right. And if you don't know God, get to know him. That's the first thing I want to tell you guys before I go. And definitely be kind to others, man. Be kind to others. Put into the world what you want to see. All right. I wish you all the best with your trading. Take care.